Brother-in-law's fiancé claims my family never RSVP'd, but I'm the only one without a seat. I've got a few updates on this one. This is a throwaway because I'm not quite ready for all of my husband's family to get involved, I think. I'm still reeling and trying to process this, so bear with me. My brother-in-law is getting married soon. My husband is the best man, and our 4-year-old is the ring bearer. I'm a part-time party planner, so I've been helping plan a small luncheon for the bridal party, immediate family, and a few vendors on the wedding day. So I'm not exactly a fringe guest here. The RSVP deadline was a few weeks ago. I filled out the online form and submitted it the same day the invitation came in the mail, with my husband sitting right next to me. We RSVP'd for the 3 of us, me, my husband, and our son. Easy peasy, right? Well, brother-in-law's fiancé, sister-in-law, reached out today over text saying we never RSVP'd. Not, hey, I never saw your RSVP, just checking, but straight up, you didn't respond, which is frustrating on its own. But then she tells us that while my husband and son have seats at the reception, as they were in part of her original head counts, I do not. My husband was told I could come early with him to set up the luncheon still and stay for the ceremony, but that I would not have a spot at the reception. We'll take your help, but we're just not willing to reciprocate any kind of accommodation. Let me repeat that. I'm married to the best man, mother of the ring bearer, and helping with wedding day logistics, including connecting sister-in-law with some of my professional contacts, and she somehow decided I just wouldn't be coming? And she never followed up before the RSVP deadline? Just what? I'm torn between feeling hurt, furious, and just flabbergasted. And used. I definitely feel used. At best, this was a sloppy mistake that she's not owning. At worst, it feels like a pointed exclusion. I'm not sure which stings more. My husband is going to handle the conversation with his brother to figure out what is going on because I genuinely don't trust myself to be polite and keep the peace. There was no other drama leading up to this that I was aware of. I have a good relationship with my in-laws, so yeah, this is totally out of left field for me and my husband. I would love to hear thoughts, especially from people who've gone through something similar. I don't typically touch weddings with work, so this is all new territory for me as a pseudo vendor/guest. My husband wants to reach out and talk to his brother first, but I'm so tempted to reach out to my mother-in-law before our usual meetup tomorrow to see if she knows anything. Some of OP's comments here. Commenter says, you're smart to wait and let Hubs talk to his brother. I'm flabbergasted also. This is freaking nuts. And this is coming from someone who is totally laid back and not someone who usually takes things personally. Just try to take your mind off it and see what Hubs reports. Go from there. Smart advice. Gather more intel. More intel is needed before you take any kind of action here. OP says, I'm usually pretty laid back too. I haven't seen the text yet, but Hubs called on his lunch break when he saw them, and I have not heard him this pissed in a long time. I'm trying to give sister-in-law the benefit of the doubt, but this feels very personal and intentional. Oh dear. Commenter says, cancel the luncheon. If you're not welcome at the wedding, there's no need for you to be free labor. Valid. OP says, I think I'm going to do this no matter what the outcome is. It puts mother-in-law and father-in-law in a bit of a lurch since they're handling the food costs, but I don't know. I know I'm biased because I'm in the middle of it, but I feel like there should be some consequences. There's a mini update 1.5 hours later, but... predictions at this point? Was it intentional? Is it fuckery? Is it mean girl bullshit? How old is their kid? 4? The petty thunder thing to do would be to teach your 4-year-old ring bearer, to walk down the aisle. And then when you get to the front, instead of handing the rings over, get that little middle finger in the air and just be like, don't marry this bitch.
Give him Cheetos before he walks down the aisle.
Oh, Cheetos. There you go. Cheetos would be good. Edit 1 from comments. Small update. Husband and brother-in-law are talking now. Brother-in-law was not working today, last night, and was helping father-in-law with something this evening. When I called mother-in-law, she had brother-in-law call husband right away. From what mother-in-law and I can hear, we're Snoopy, my husband was muted on brother-in-law's phone and my contact was deleted. Brother-in-law can't log into the wedding website, so he can't check to see if our RSVP was there. I'm not sure if I want to become a firecracker myself or get some popcorn as I watch mother-in-law pop off. Oh, mother-in-law's in the business now. Okay, so why though would OP's hubby be muted on brother-in-law's phone, and why would OP's contact be deleted? There's some nefarious bullshit going on here, y'all.
Premeditated.
She's conning, or she's conniving. And conning, I think. Mini update number 2. 2 hours later. 3.5 hours from the OG post. Okay, so here's the last update for the night. I am tired and a bit overwhelmed by all of your responses. I'm sorry I haven't replied to them all, but I have read most of them. Again, thank you for your advice and just general support during this really weird and upsetting time. So my husband finally got a hold of brother-in-law after I called mother-in-law. No one else knew this was going on. While they were talking, brother-in-law tried logging into their wedding website to see if this was a mistake or misunderstanding, but couldn't log in. So he texted sister-in-law to see if she changed the password, and she just told him to come home instead. This set off 3. 1, brother-in-law ended the call with husband to call sister-in-law about why she couldn't answer a simple question. 2, mother-in-law popped off about how dare that woman exclude OP. 3, mother-in-law and father-in-law popped off on brother-in-law for already living with sister-in-law. They're very religious and traditional and don't believe that a couple should live together before marriage. Husband and I sympathize with brother-in-law. Brother-in-law and sister-in-law argued over the phone. Apparently she started claiming that it was an unfortunate glitch and that it was too late to add another seat now. Then it was that we never jived, and would it really be so bad if I went home early? Plus, I could take our son home with me because he would be tired by then. At 5 p.m., this woman does not know kids. Then it was, I've always been mean and excluding her from things, even though she's never invited me to any of the girly fun wedding events. At this point, my husband and I are glued to my phone as we're hearing yelling from all 4 of them until sister-in-law hangs up. Brother-in-law is spending the night at his parents' and is unsure about the wedding now. He plans on going home tomorrow with husband going with him for moral support. I'll be going with hubby to my in-laws to hang out until we hear back about the situation at the battlefront. Well, wow.
This bitch be crazy.
Her story kept changing, right? Her story kept changing. It was change. First, it was an unfortunate glitch. And I'm like, which one is the unfortunate glitch? The fact that you changed the password? The fact that her contact is deleted? The fact that my brother is muted? Like, where's the unfortunate glitch?
I think there's been a glitch.
I think the unfortunate glitch is some kind of switch that went off in her mind and cascaded all of this other update. Here we go. So, hi. To preface, I did not expect my post to blow up the way it did. Several commenters mentioned it just popped up in the recommendations, and holy geez, it was way bigger than I ever had imagined. That's what she said. So, thank you. I think it's super overwhelming on top of the real-life soap opera I'm living through this weekend. Update. Turns out the no seat for OP issue was the problem that broke brother-in-law's relationship. And we're a bit upset brother-in-law didn't talk to anybody about this until it blew up. Behind the scenes, brother-in-law and sister-in-law were having arguments about their future together. Most of these arguments centered around having kids. Early on, sister-in-law gave the impression that she wanted children someday. But as they got more serious, she started backtracking. A few months ago, brother-in-law realized that it's very likely sister-in-law never wanted kids, but felt too invested in the relationship to leave. But brother-in-law always imagined having a large family, so this really shook him. Oh, so she lied.
Shocking.
She lied. She reverse baby trapped him. She no baby trapped him. On top of that, sister-in-law apparently had jealousy and insecurity issues. Shocked. Per brother-in-law, I've been her latest target, which started when I turned down going to a mani-pedi with her. Why did I turn her down? Husband and son had a rotavirus. Apparently, I was icing her out by not wanting to spread gastrointestinal doom. Can anybody please explain this logic to us? Yeah, people don't tell her no, and the people who do tell her no get iced out for life.
What a sad, lonely little woman.
Lastly, sister-in-law was apparently already floating the idea of disinviting our son from the reception because he would have been the only small child there. Brother-in-law shut that down immediately, and mother-in-law and father-in-law kept that knowledge from us to spare our feelings. Ergo, our lost RSVP was not a software glitch, nor was it an oversight, but rather a stupidly calculated move. Sister-in-law was apparently hoping one of 2 things would happen. Either I would make a scene about being disinvited and would be seen as the problem, or we would quietly accept our fate and she would not have to deal with 2 undesirables at her reception. With all of this in mind, I can't figure out why she would have messaged my husband instead of me. Was she trying to cause more family drama? Again, the logic is not logicking. Brother-in-law was already feeling some uncertainty because of the shifting kids, no kids conversation, but the deliberate seeding stunt gave him the last push and clarity he needed. Brother-in-law told my husband it was a level of manipulation and cruelty that he could not overlook, so he ended things and has asked for the ring back. No wedding, no reception, just a super messy, emotionally heavy, and expensive breakup. And I feel so bad for brother-in-law. He's going through so much heartache right now, but he deserves better in a partner. Hopefully, sister-in-law can find a family dynamic that doesn't feel like a never-ending battlefield. That's all for now. Still tired, still flabbergasted, but I'm also relieved this wedding arc is coming to an end. Couple of comments here. Commenter, your non-sister-in-law is an idiot. OP, you'll hear no arguments from us. Another commenter, aw, poor brother-in-law. Expensive heartache, but glad he is out before an expensive divorce. He'll find somebody for him. Take some rest. To that note here, I know he's going through heartache right now, but the amount of heartache he would have been going through for the duration of that marriage would have been hell. At least he knows now. OP says, I know he'll find somebody that will be a perfect fit for him. I'm still annoyed with him though. He was lamenting being old and alone at dinner, and I was like, honey, you're the baby of the family. Have some more fries and shut up. Commenter, her poorly executed treachery turns out to be a blessing in disguise for brother-in-law. Had she not hatched this ill-fated plot and sabotaged the phone, etc., he would have married this monster. Her cover-up, ironically, was the evidence of the truth. On another note, this is really unusual and why the post got so much attention. We see mostly obnoxious conduct, but this scenario is unique. She really outdid almost every shitty bridezilla. How did the conversation with your husband and him go? There was obviously some admissions. Did you get a sense of the tone of the talk? OP says, I was wondering why my little vent and need for advice is trending. Besides sister-in-law's poorly done power trip, I don't think this was an unusual situation. I don't know all the details of the convo that my husband had with brother-in-law. From my understanding, on the drive to the apartment, my husband asked, hey, what's your game plan? Because this is full-on crazy and not okay. And brother-in-law opened up to him about everything that was going on. How ex-sister-in-law reacted. Per brother-in-law, there was a lot of begging and crying. There was also anger and accusations that he was cheating with me, followed by professions of love and offers to go to therapy. She also kept taking the items that he was packing up out of his bags until he called my husband to come in and be another set of eyes. So she was just following him around like, no, take this. I'll go to therapy, but I'm not letting you have that lamp.
Without sounding crazy, I loved the story. I loved everything about it. I loved the moment that it started and like how she was calm and like, okay, I'm going to let my husband talk to his brother and bypass the whole crazy situation that's happening in my text messages. I love that mother-in-law was on her side and invested in like a good way. It was like the push he needed to not marry someone that he wasn't compatible with.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that this, ex-sister-in-law is going to be compatible with anyone until she handles her insecurities and how she takes everything, too personally? I don't know. Like, somebody not being able to go to a mani-pedi is not an aggressive slight. Like, especially if they have a stomach virus going around their house. I'd be like, don't come near me.
Yeah.
I don't know what she thought was going to happen, but she got what she deserved. And I hope she seeks help because this ain't it. This is not how life should be lived. It'd be different to try to cut like she said, a fringe guest out of the picture, but to try to cut your sister-in-law and your nephew out of the picture, it's like she just, one, does not like children at all.
It is.
And two, like...
to go to the level of effort to not just cook up this plan, but take brother-in-law's phone and delete her contacts and then mute his own brother.
Yeah.
To try to prevent this whole thing from coming to light is like which just begs the question, like, how far would she go
to cover her tracks? I would say pretty far.
Or I mean, in the next round of drama, something else happens. How far is she willing to go? She'll frame anyone. She'll scorched earth. She'll isolate him from his support network. She'll do whatever the she has to do to get her way.